As Steve and I were writing the 100X Leader book, we really found that we needed a metaphor to help people move and shift their thinking from 20th century thinking to 21st century leadership. So we chose the metaphor of Mount Everest, and specifically the Sherpa on Mount Everest, because it's not enough just to climb a mountain. It's about climbing while taking other people up the mountain who are climbing themselves. That's the difficulty. That's the problem with leadership. Leadership is just kind of a general term that's used too loosely. Leadership, in essence, means that you're taking people who really may not want to get to the next level or know how to get to the next level. You have to be the one to take them up. So Mount Everest is really a perfect place to help walk you through the process of becoming a 100X leader, someone who's 100% healthy and someone who's learning how to multiply their skills into other people in an intentional way. So to climb Mount Everest, let's talk about that just first and foremost. Mount Everest is 29,000 feet. I mean, it's a little higher than that. But to think of you're in an airplane and you look down, that is Mount Everest. That's how high it is. That's how big of a feat it is to climb Mount Everest. In fact, no one's been able to climb by themselves. They've always had to have a Sherpa with them. Now, the Sherpa are the people that were born in that region. They are natives in that area. And they're a people group, and they're born at 14,000 feet. So their bodies are already acclimated to it. Their minds and their lungs are already acclimated to the conditions, and they can handle that level of altitude versus you and I. Let's just say I put you on Mount Everest, or you went to Mount Everest right now, and you were at Camp 2 on Mount Everest, you would die in 30 minutes. Your body just couldn't manage it, couldn't handle it because there wouldn't be enough oxygen to your brain. Your lungs couldn't handle that thin of altitude. So that's the landscape of Mount Everest, to think it's the highest mountain in the world. How are you going to get up it? Well, if you wanted to climb Mount Everest, here's what would have to happen. You'd have to spend a lot of money. You'd have to spend a lot of time. And you'd have to have the right guides to get you up. And by the time you finally got to base camp and you were on the mountain, by the way, did you know that there's only a small window for you to climb Mount Everest? But in March through May, but there's only about 15 to 20 days in May for you to actually make it, for the weather is so bad. So if you think about that, to go, there's a lot of work for a short period of time. And out of the 1,200 or so that climb Mount Everest every year, only about 600 of them actually make it to the top. And then there's those who don't make it at all back home. And that's the death rate on Mount Everest, which is pretty substantial. So it's a sacrifice to climb Mount Everest, to actually do it. And when you get to base camp, you have to acclimate by going to Camp 1 and then back to base camp. Then you go to Camp 1, then Camp 2, then back to base camp, so on and so forth, until you finally get to that chance and see if there's a nice weather window to go for the summit. And when you're summiting, it's so unbelievably difficult because you get to the top and you made it all the way to the top. You're like, yes, I made it. And you take your selfie or you take your picture and then you get to, celebrate. The issue is that most of the deaths that happen on Mount Everest happen on the way down, not on the way up. So it's treacherous to say the least. And all the while you made it, and we've interviewed a number of climbers on Mount Everest, they all talk about the Sherpa, the one that helped them get to the next level, the one that brought enough support and enough challenge, the ones who actually showed them and helped them in really, really key moments make it to the next level or not make it at all. Because the Sherpa's job is to help them get there safely. If they don't think that a climber is going to make it safely, then they turn back. And their job is really to help people get to the next level, which is why we chose the metaphor. A leader is like a Sherpa. So let's say that you climbed and I was your Sherpa and you got all the way to the top and you made it and yes, we celebrate. I take your picture. You make it all the way back down to base camp and we celebrate. And then I look at you and I go, great. I want you to rest here for 3 days. And then in 3 days, I want you to take these 3 people up the mountain. Or let's just say one person up the mountain. Now, it's totally different when you're climbing for yourself than when your job is to help 3 other people who might be moany and whiny and may not be as effective. How do you help those people climb? Well, you have to climb and you have to help other people climb. That is leadership. Helping other people get to the next level and doing your job at the same time. That's why there's so few really good leaders, because most leaders haven't thought about it. Most leaders aren't intentionally helping people get to the next level. So the Mount Everest metaphor and the metaphor of the Sherpa is the idea that your job is to be fully acclimated. It's 100, getting 100% healthy yourself. You can't give what you don't possess. So if you don't have the skills to climb yourself, then you can't take other people up. And then when the X is multiplication, it's actually transferring skills, knowledge, wisdom to get them to the next level. So 100X usually doesn't happen because most people don't know how to lead themselves, and most people aren't willing to lead other people to the degree that they need to be led. And why is that the case? Well, just like Mount Everest, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard work. It's much easier just to try to climb yourself. But the best leaders in the world have taken other people with them. The best leaders are 100X leaders. We just have so few of them. We just need a lot more of them. And we need leaders who are not afraid of losing. Self-preservation is usually why most people don't do it. They're inhibited. They feel as if either they haven't had it, they hadn't had examples from other people that have led them. So they're afraid of losing either time, or they're afraid of losing. They're afraid of if it doesn't work, or maybe they're trying to hide the fact that they don't know how to do it, which is exactly why we're giving you the skills. We want you to have the skills and the tools to climb at the next level. Some people are trying to prove themselves so much to other people that their employees are a drag to them. And so therefore, they kind of cull their people and kind of show themselves in a favorable light to their bosses. But again, the best leaders in the world have learned how to climb themselves and lead other people up at the same time. And that balance, that art and science, is exactly what the 100X Leader book is about, the series is about. That's why we produce Giant TV for you. We want you to have what it takes to get to the next level. And we want you to be an X leader so that you'll actually take other people with you. So Mount Everest is the metaphor. Sherpa is the metaphor. We use the terminology Sherpa in everything that we do at Giant. We basically have internal Sherpas, which are basically people inside companies who get it and want to use the system. They become internal Sherpas. They become so acclimated to leadership that they know how to take other people up. And we are then Sherpas to leaders and companies and people as well. But the design of it is that you can be a Sherpa in your family, you can be a Sherpa to your team, and you can be a Sherpa to other people. And if you think that way and begin to take on some of these principles, then you will become a leader that people want to follow, not simply have to follow.